Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I would really appreciate it, and I appreciate you for visiting my channel and listening to my content. All right, let's get into it. Security for these things, right? So what's going to happen, and I think this is something that a lot of people don't even know, there are certain blockchain companies that they're building on top of Cardano, XLM, XRP, HBAR, XDC. These companies that are building on these blockchains for security reasons is so that you're now able to take your personal information and lock it up with them, and you will be able to give access to people if you want to. And when you give these people access, you can actually also turn around and get paid for giving them access to your information, right? Through the security. A lot of people don't understand that concept either. You're going to be able to make money on a lot of different things with the blockchain. Your personal identification is going to be one of them. It's not going to be so easy for people to be able to, scam call you and things like that anymore, because they're actually going to have to pay for your data. And when they pay for it, they're paying for it today. The difference is that when they pay for it, you're going to have to give them access. And when you give them access, they're going to have to then pay you for the access.
Right, because it's decentralized, so...
Right, because it's going to be decentralized.
So it's not like some platform that owns your data.
Right, it's not going to be centralized anymore.
But I think that the best thing about the whole thing, about like the digital ID thing, is like, it's almost going to be like real life, where if you go do something, there's consequences, because it can be tied back to you.
Right.
It'd be like on the internet. You go saying something crazy or doing crazy stuff on the internet, it's tied to your digital ID.
Right.
And everybody who complain about all these different things on the internet, it's a good thing.
Right.
People are going to be a lot more cautious with what they do, or they're not just going to be so bold or crazy on the internet like that.
Accountability is going to go up 100 times, because now you're going to have to really actually hold yourself accountable for the things that you do and say online.
Right.
Right? You're going to have to. That's just what it's going to be, because it's going to be a part of your digital ID. It's going to follow you everywhere you go because it's on the blockchain. So you go post a video of you, puncturing somebody's tires, guess what? You can't go take that video down. It's hard for you to do that now because somebody will done rip the video offline and then repost it. Now you can't get the video from them, but now it's going to be tied to your identity, full on. There's nothing you're going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to do things and it's not going to be able to be tied back to you. No, it's going to be, like you said, a footprint, a way to trace you, to see who you are, what you've done.
Right.
But I don't see it to be nothing bad. To me, just relax. Don't be doing nothing crazy. Don't be using online to do nothing crazy.
Well, some people are afraid. Some people look at it as bad because they like to go on the internet and wild out.
Right.
And then some people, they view it as bad because they're just afraid of anything that's different. Like, they're afraid of anything that seems like, things are changing, and there's anything that, when any change is coming, there's always going to be people worried about, what about this? What about this? And it's like, they took that into consideration already.
Right. They already took all these things into consideration. Because again, this technology is not that new.
Right.
They've been working with this stuff for years. It's been 24 years of them working with this stuff. 24 years of them working with this blockchain stuff.
And it was invented, 40 years ago?
Right. And
before we had iPhones and stuff, look how fast these things progress.
Right.
So what you think about that? How much have phones progressed in the last 24 years?
Exactly. This stuff is not new. They took a lot of things into consideration. Now, you may be hearing people talk and say, it's going to take a long time. It is not taking a long time for nothing. Because how much more years you need? This technology has been developing for the last 24 years. How much more years you need?
Like some guy said, they weren't sitting here talking about certain like internet platforms and things like that for years and years and years. They weren't just sitting there talking about it as it was coming to life. Like in the 90s or whatever, they said they weren't really talking about it like that. Like how we're talking about crypto and the blockchain and everything.
Right.
It's not like they was talking about it for 10 plus years and then it came out.
Right.
If you was into it, then yeah, they was talking about it as they were developing it.
Right.
But it was not being mentioned in mainstream media or anything like that.
No. You know, and the internet is what really birthed a lot of these ideas. You know, the internet is what birthed a lot of these ideas for a lot of these things to even happen, right? Because now you have people thinking outside the box and saying, okay, well, we have the internet. The internet could do this. The internet could do that. You know, the internet could do this. The internet could do that. Technology is progressing. Now we can do this. We can text through WhatsApp. I can text a family member somewhere on the other side of the world and not get charged. Well, if I could do that, what else we could do? Right? And this is where the whole point of, you know, the money being transferred, like the way how you transfer data, that's where that whole concept came from. Because it's like, if I can text you on the other side of the world and you get the text in under a minute, why is it that if I want to send you money, it has to take so long?
Right.
And then I have to pay all of these fees.
People are not looking at the progression of the internet and seeing how fast it's progressing, how different it is, and kind of relating that to finance. It's like when Web 1 came out, all you could do is really read stuff. Web 2, you could interact with stuff and put your own things on the internet.
Right.
Right now, people could, when back in the day, you wanted to be an actor or something like that, you had to go to Hollywood. Now you posting skits online, and you have all the same access pretty much to the people who moved there. So you don't have to physically go there. It's digital now.
Right.
So why wouldn't they do that with other things?
Right.
Why would it just stay the same?
Right. And why is it that you know, the other thing a lot of people need to ask themselves is, why are they making it such a big deal with money? Why are they making it such a big deal with money to the point where they're holding the technology back? You have to ask yourself this. Because they know those who control the money hold the power.
And it's going to be like the fact that, like I said, anybody could just go, some athlete or whatever could just go on social media and start posting himself and get scouted over the internet now. So he has easy access to make it to become a basketball player or whatever, to make it to the league or whatever. He has way easier access. We're going to have way easier access to wealth.
Yeah.
So that's like what you said. They're holding up the system and making sure that their foundation is set. That when it comes over, they're stable.
Right.
So a lot of people might come over and have a good little start, but their foundation isn't set, so they might crumble and fall fast or whatever, things like that. So it's like,
right, because like I even noticed too, like in the last, I want to say from since 2020 till now, you've been hearing a lot of these like billionaires, multimillionaires coming out and saying, oh, you don't need to go to school. Before, they never were coming out and saying that. Now,
I didn't hear that till Robert Kiyosaki started saying that. I feel like that's when they started saying that a lot.
Right.
He's been saying it for
a long
years,
time.
But
yeah. But none of these people were actually really confirming it. They only started confirming it when they realized we can't hold it back anymore. We can't.
I think also it's like they're giving up some of because they're dropping a lot of gems now, a lot of these millionaires and stuff like that, on the interviews and podcasts and stuff, they're dropping a lot of gems. And I think it's because they also know these are just old tricks. we got new tricks now.
Right.
Y'all can have that.
Right. We giving y'all, we dropping knowledge on y'all, and it's like you said, it's the old tricks. It's the old tricks because we're preparing for what's coming.
Right.
We're preparing for what's coming.
And that's always a question that people are like, oh, if you can do that, then why would they just tell you it for free? For one, the fact that so many people are paying attention to them because they're saying that brings them more money. And two, like I said, like, they got new tricks. They're not giving you their best stuff.
Right.
They got new tricks. So yeah, you can have that. I used to do that. I still do it a little bit here. You can do that too.
And the other thing too is a lot of information and knowledge is free.
Right.
A lot of these people, when they give you this information, they're giving it to you for free because it is free. They got it for free. Right? They got it for free. They didn't have to pay for it. They were in certain positions, in certain places, and they were able to talk to certain people that dropped knowledge to them. Them people didn't charge them nothing for that knowledge.
Right.
They were giving that knowledge for free. So they're going to do what? In return, they're going to give it back to you for free because it's free knowledge. Right? It's free knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't have to charge you for something that somebody told me for free. Well, no. You know, but that's what you have people doing nowadays. But it's neither here nor there.
And that's why I say, like, a lot of times people, like, they say, like, oh, like, you know, we're trapped or this and that, or whatever. They're holding us back or they're trying to stop us, whatever. We don't have opportunities, but it's like, you're just not seeing the opportunities because you think it's not possible. So you're just not even seeing the opportunities.
Right, because you're really, your mind is basically driven on what? Oh, I got to go to school, I got to get an education, and then, you know, then I get a good job. And it's like, yeah, but all of the degrees that you're going to school to get, you're going and working for people that built companies that did not graduate college.
And a lot of these things is outdated too. So it's like there's so many people, they go to school for 4 years, and by the time they're done with their 4 years, what they learned that whole time is low-key not relevant.
Right.
They gotta relearn something new or whatever. Or they gotta try and adapt to the people who just put themselves in the field and just did it.
Exactly.
And it's not even about, people say like, oh, you need a degree and all this stuff, but when you actually look at the people who are in these certain industries or in these certain positions, the people just like them for whatever reason, and they put them in a position. A lot of them not even qualified. A lot of them not even good enough to be even doing what they're doing. What they had to learn, they had to adapt.
Right.
Somebody just saw them and was like, oh, you seem cool, whatever, or they just knew certain people. Boom.
Right.
So it's like you going to school, spending all this time going to school is really a waste, and you learning from people who don't even actually do these stuff. Like my graphic design teacher. She never even really like did graphic design for a company or freelance or anything. She just knew how to do graphic design, but she never actually made it her career. So I'm like, how am I learning from you?
Right.
Never even did it.
Right. Never did it as a job.
And then like the stuff she was teaching me used to frustrate me so much. Which is this is what I was telling my little brother, like, yo, you don't even go into school yet. Just try to do, because he wanted to go to school for computer science. I told him, yo, just try it for a year, just do it on your free